Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is, of course, Cameron. There you go. Everton have officially confirmed the signing of Neal Maupay from Brighton. Everton confirmed today that Neal Maupay has completed a move to Everton from Brighton and Hove Albion for an undisclosed fee, signing a 3-year contract until the end of June 2025 with an option for a further year. The club statement reads that the 26-year-old becomes the club's 6th summer addition following the arrivals of James Tarkowski, Ruben Vinagre, Dwight McNeil, Connor Cody and Amadou Onana. Maupay has spent the past 3 seasons at Brighton, where he scored 26 goals in 84 Premier League starts. The Frenchman is ineligible to make his Everton debut at Brentford on Saturday, but set out his hunger to swiftly deliver for the club and for Evertonians. So therefore, Everton confirming there that he wasn't actually registered in time to play tomorrow, so he won't be have any involvement in tomorrow's game against Brentford. But of course, assuming he will have some involvement in Tuesday's game against Leicester City. Maupay has said Everton is a great club with unbelievable fans, and I am so happy to be here. It feels amazing. It was an easy choice for me. When I started to talk to the club, straight away I wanted to play for Everton and help the club succeed. I'm excited. It's a new challenge for me. I will do everything I can for Everton. That's what the fans want. They want players that are ready to give their best and ready to fight. When I step on the pitch, I will run, I will tackle, I will try to make assists and score goals. Whatever the team needs, I will do it because I want to be successful and I want my team to win. He also then went on to say everybody here is working on the same path and trying to take the club back where it belongs. We have a very good quality in the squad here and I just can't wait to get started. I will give everything day in, day out in training and in games to make sure we have success. Director of Football Kevin Thelwell, of course, has spoken about the arrival of Neal Maupay and said, Neal is a player who has proven himself in the Premier League over the past 3 seasons and is hungry to hit the ground running with Everton. We believe he will add an extra dimension to our attack and complement the existing players we have at the top end of the pitch. Frank Lampard said, we're delighted to bring Neal to Everton, a player of proven quality in the Premier League. We wanted to strengthen our attacking options and Neal provides a goal-scoring threat as well as bags of energy and a fighting spirit that are vital to what we're building at the club. So there you go. Neal Maupay is officially an Everton player. Obviously, there's been a number of rumours over the last 48 hours or so about this deal. It actually didn't creep up until about 24 hours ago that Everton were in any form of advanced negotiations with Brighton for Neal Maupay. Obviously, there's been rumours over the last couple of weeks or so that Everton were interested in bringing him in and that he was one of many options that Everton were exploring in terms of bringing in a centre-forward. But over the last 24 hours, obviously, this deal has accelerated dramatically and now obviously concluded with the Frenchman signing for Everton Football Club. I'm actually fairly pleased with this signing, if I'm being perfectly honest. Now, obviously, the statement reads that as an undisclosed fee. There's been sort of rumours, there's been murmurs going around that it's somewhere between 15 million pounds, something along those lines. Again, very difficult to actually be able to determine the actual fee because, obviously, of Everton's statement reading undisclosed. In fact, I can't remember the last time Everton signed the player and actually announced how much money that player had cost them. It just feels like every player at the moment these days is announced as undisclosed. However, I'm happy with this signing. I like Neal Maupay. I think he's a good striker. Listen, is he a 20, 30, 40 goal a season striker? Absolutely not. And I think, you know, there's a selection of this fan base and, you know, in fairness, who believe Everton should be going for the very best and, you know, ultimately maybe a little bit underwhelmed with Neal Maupay. And I think Neal Maupay and the signing of Neal Maupay sort of follows along the same sort of level as Connor Cody, as James Tarkowski, in the sense that they're not necessarily the most exciting players in the world. They're not necessarily the most exciting signings in the world. It's not like we're sitting here, you know, saying crack open the champagne, oh my God, we've signed X, Y or Z. However, they're players that will come in and will ultimately improve Everton Football Club and will ultimately be able to bring something to the table. The fact of the matter is Neal Maupay is a much better striker than what Solomon Rondon is. Is he as good as Dominic Calvert-Lewin? I don't know. There's an argument there to be had. I actually think Neal Maupay has been, maybe a little bit misunderstood in terms of his actual goal contributions. You look at his Premier League goal contributions, as the statement reads there: 102 games for Brighton, 26 goals, 7 assists. Last season, he played 32 games, 8 goals, 2 assists. 33 games the season before, again, same, 8 goals, 2 assists. And the season before that, 37 games with 10 goals and 3 assists. So in his 3 Premier League seasons, he's actually scored 26 goals and had 7 assists. Now, if you compare that to a player that we've just lost, and the reason I'm doing this is because a lot of people are comparing Neal Maupay to Richarlison, because we've just lost Richarlison. Obviously, we were needing to replace Richarlison. If you compare those stats to Richarlison's, in the last 3 years, Richarlison has 30 goals and 11 assists. So again, Neal Maupay only having 4 less goals and 4 less assists, ironically, than what Richarlison had in that same period of time. And a lot of people are saying, Neal Maupay is incompatible to Richarlison. Richarlison is much better player, and that's not really the argument that I'm having here. The argument that I'm having is Neal Maupay has only scored 4 less goals in the past 3 seasons as to what Richarlison had. And I seen a stat earlier today which stated that had Neal Maupay had been an Everton player over the last 3 seasons, last season he would have been our 3rd highest goal scorer. The season before, he would have been our 2nd highest goal scorer, and the season before that, he would have been our 2nd highest goal scorer. So when we're looking at the signing, I think it's important to understand that we are bringing in a player here who is a proven goal scorer in the Premier League. He's also proven to score big goals in big games. There's been a number of games for Brighton, real big games, where he's popped up with vital goals. I remember that goal in the derby against Crystal Palace, towards the end of the game, where he went one-on-one with the keeper, cool as you like, chipped it over him, and ended up winning that game for Brighton and Hove Albion. Again, a big moment player, a player who isn't afraid to step up in the big moments and, put the ball into the back of the net. Again, something that Everton have been lacking. He's only 26 years old, so he's relatively in the prime of his career. The internet does say that he's Everton's number 9. He's evidently not Everton's number 9, because Everton's number 9 is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We actually don't know what number he is yet, because the club haven't given him a number, or certainly haven't announced him as a number. Another thing that Neal Maupay is, in which Everton are massively missing, is a snide. What would be known in footballing terms as a shithouse, in the sense of a player that isn't afraid to get in defenders' faces, isn't afraid to wind people up, will wind his opposition fans up, will wind his opposition teammates up, and will really get under the skin of, the players he's playing against and the fans that he's coming up against, in order to try and create a hostile environment which he can then feed off of. And he does that really well, and that is something else that you can sort of compare with Richarlison, because again, he was a player that, other than us Evertonians, nobody else liked. No opposition fans liked. The pundits clearly didn't like him, as we've experienced over the years. They do like him now that he plays for Tottenham. They like him. Surprise. Imagine my shock at that. But, he was a player that used to get under people's skin, a player that used to wind people up, a player that used to really frustrate defences. And Neal Maupay is exactly the same in that sense. He will get under people's skin, he will wind people up, and he will score goals. The reality of the situation is I think you can usually, with signings like this, I always think it's interesting to have a little look at what the fans of the side in which the player is coming from are having to say about it. It's always very interesting to see what Brighton fans say about Maupay, or what Burnley fans have to say about Dwight McNeil, etc. There's a lot of Brighton fans on social media who I've had interactions with today, and I'm seeing other people having interactions with, who seem quite disappointed to see Neal Maupay leave the football club. They respect them, they appreciate what he's given for the football club, and they actually think he's a sort of a key member of that team, and his attitude and his application will be missed, according to a lot of those Brighton fans. So, what ultimately, I even had a Brighton fan say to me today, what is our loss is ultimately your game, because you're bringing in a really good forward who can score goals. And listen, I understand people saying, Wormy says, the lad's getting outstarted by Danny Welbeck. Other people saying, he's had 185 million chances and only got a 11% conversion rate or something like that. Again, as I said, not the type of signing that we're all going to sit here and crack open a bottle of champagne about tonight and have a massive celebration about him signing for Everton Football Club and sit here and talk about how he's going to change the world and how he's going to be unbelievable and he's going to score 40 goals this season. But one thing he absolutely will do is score more than what Solomon Rondon will do. And one thing he absolutely will do will give us a chance at winning games of football while Dominic Calvert-Lewin remains on the sideline. And I think you will see, again, 8 to 10 goals from Neal Maupay this season in an Everton shirt, and that's 8 to 10 goals that we didn't have before he signed. Do I still think we need another striker? Absolutely. Whether it be another out-and-out striker, or whether it be another sort of player that can play across that front three, because Neal Maupay isn't really that type of player that can play across that front three on the wing or up front. I absolutely do think we do. I don't think we can sit here and go, right, we've got Neal Maupay in now, absolutely sound. We're okay in that area. I still think we need to strengthen even more, especially given, we've lost Dele and may or may not be losing Anthony Gordon over the coming week. So I don't think the business is by any sense of the imagination done in terms of bringing in attacking players, but I actually do think Neal Maupay is quite a smart signing. And at the end of the day, we've got to get behind him now. He's an Everton player. Whether, you wanted him or not, whether you believe he's good enough or not, whether you're particularly excited about the signing or not, I don't think anybody can disagree with the fact that, he's an Everton player now. He's signed. As we've just read, he's spoken, passionately about the football club, passionately about what he wants to achieve at the football club, the type of player he is. We already know the type of player he is. You'll have had to have been under a rock for the last 3 or 4 seasons to not realise the type of player that Neal Maupay is. Ty from Arsenal Fan TV absolutely hates him, can't stand him. And the reason Ty from Arsenal Fan TV can't stand him is because in that game, he was a snide. He was an absolute snide and he was getting under people's skin, and I think he managed to get one of the Arsenal players sent off in that game, and we ended up ultimately having a key role to play in a game of football that Brighton won. So listen, I'm quite happy with this signing. I am. I am massively disappointed that he won't be able to play tomorrow, because I think that would have been a great start for him away at his former club. But I'm happy with this signing. Again, in a very similar way as I was happy with Connor Cody, in a very similar way as I was happy with James Tarkowski. They're not signings that you're going to sit here and say, oh my God, how have we managed that? But they're useful, proven Premier League players who have proven to be good at what they do. And for me, Neal Maupay is a good goal scorer. Is he the best goal scorer in the world? Absolutely not. But he's a decent goal scorer, and he's certainly better than the options that we have now. Anyway, let's get into the live comments. If you're watching live, let me know what you think on Neal Maupay. I want to hear what you all have to think in the live comments. If you watch a YouTube video, leave your thoughts down below, and we will get involved with as many of them as we can as well. But let's get straight into the live comments. If you're enjoying, by the way, please hit the like button. It only takes a second, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Star Wars Blues says, what is your opinion on this Blues? There you go. Give your opinion. Force FIFA says, yes, Cam lad. What would you rate the signing out of 10? I think it's a solid 7 out of 10, to be honest, 7. Come on, you Blues, says David is right. Barrow's giving it a 7 as well. Another player proven to have no end product. I don't think he's got no end product. Is he somebody that you're going to look at and say, yeah, he's going to be, our striker going forward? No, but I don't think that was the aim. Whether or not that should have been the aim, again, I said it earlier on and I'll say it today, Everton should have been looking for somebody better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so that when Dominic Calvert-Lewin returns from injury, he's got to step up to perform to the level of whoever we'd brought in who is better than him. But that probably was never going to be the case because of our financial situation and because of the fact we've just survived relegation, and there's not many strikers that are better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin that would come to Everton that wouldn't be offered to go somewhere else and would probably prefer to go there. Is Neal Maupay a better striker than Solomon Rondon? Absolutely. Is a better striker than Solomon Rondon. As I said, his end product isn't actually as bad as people make it out to be. I mean, we've just lost Richarlison, who was quite clearly and evidently our best goal scorer over the last 3 or 4 years, and Maupay's only scored 4 less than what Richarlison has in that period of time. I mean, if we have a look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because I think this would be really, really interesting to have a look at. It's not gonna come up with DCL, is it? Oh, there you go. It does come up with DCL. If you have a look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin and his stats over the last 3 or 4 seasons or so, in terms of his goals, obviously we know he had that great season under Carlo Ancelotti. So in his previous 3 Premier League seasons, once my computer decides to load, he scored 5 goals last season with 2 assists in 17 games. He scored 16 goals with 3 assists in 33 games, and he scored 13 goals in 36 games with 1 assist. So over the last 3 seasons, he has scored, bear with me while I do the maths, he has scored 29, 34 goals in that period of time in that last 3 seasons. And again, 8 more than what Neal Maupay has scored, 15 assists. So, a little bit more than what Richarlison has in that period of time, but obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin had that season under Carlo where he was absolutely outstanding. And again, should we have gone for somebody better than Neal Maupay? Maybe. Is somebody was somebody available that would meet that criteria over the next 3 or 4 days, given the transfer window closes on Thursday? Maybe not. Should Everton have been a bit more proactive and brought a striker in when we lost Richarlison on the 1st of July, understanding Dominic Calvert-Lewin could potentially get injured? Absolutely, but there lies the problem, isn't it? For everybody frustrated with Maupay and why we haven't gone for better, we haven't gone for better because we didn't do our business when we should have done it in the first week of the transfer window. That's why. 6 out of 10, I really wanted Brenton Diaz. We might still get him. I'm hoping for the best. I'd start Tom Cannon tomorrow. Not a chance is Tom Cannon going to start, mate. I get where you're coming from, though. Kevin says, thank Christ, anyone is better than Condom. Wormy says, probably score more goals than McNeil. Great news, says Darkside. Camlad, how's everyone doing? Says Wormy, I'm not too bad. I think Maupay will shine if he has another striker next to him, says Star Wars. Potentially. Honestly, the lad got... Oh, just read that one. Hernandez says, I hope this works well for him. We have to keep talking about needing a target player. Just go out and get the shortest player on the market. We need Sossard with him, says Jake. Kabama has completed his loan move to Transport, I believe. Where are we there? Sorry. Thoughts on Tom Cannon? He's on fire at the moment, says Phil. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player for his age. I don't think he'll get anywhere near this squad, if I'm being honest with you. Whether he should or not is another question, but I just can't see him. He might be on the bench tomorrow, but he won't start. He won't start tomorrow. It'll be Rondon, or it'll be the dreaded front three of Gray, McNeil and Gordon. But yeah, look, again, for me, I'm relatively happy with this signing. I don't think he's somebody that we, again, will any of us will be over the moon for, but I think he's somebody that will quietly go under the radar, and I actually think he will be a success for Everton. I think he'll score goals, and ultimately, what profile of player do we look for to be a success at Everton and to be loved at Goodison Park? We look for somebody that is going to give everything every week. I think he will. We look for somebody that is going to score goals. I think he will. And we look for somebody that is going to fight and be that little bit of a snide, little bit of a shithouse, a little bit like Richarlison was. And he's exactly that. So I can see this transfer working really, really well. I might be wrong. Again, it's not Hollywood, oh my God, we're all amazed. But I actually think it's a fairly decent signing. Do I still think we need another forward? Absolutely. And hopefully we can go out and do that. Darkside says, good signing, having to clean up the financial mess. Yes. Amanda says Diaz as well, and the window won't be too bad. Call it that. It crosses, says Wormy. Small people says this is a stopgap. Think this is a stopgap, relatively cheap target, potentially. We have a good group of players, says Stephen. Richarlison's money was used for FFP, says Amanda. But ultimately we still could have used that to spend on a striker, because we've spent it elsewhere when we needed a striker. Good signing, says Brian. Starball says, when you say that, but all depends on the player. Would you like Everton to sell Rondon this summer, says Eugene. It ain't happening. Mate. It ain't happening. Dom hasn't played for a year and is going to be rubbish due to a prolonged absence, says Wormy. Well, that's why, for me, I think we need another in, because it's a massive risk to expect Dominic Calvert-Lewin to come back from injury and hit the ground running straight away. A massive, massive risk. So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, look, we are going to leave it there then. Only a little short one, but I just thought we'd do a video, obviously, to talk about the signing. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. That would mean a massive amount to me. Let us know your thoughts in the live comments. If you're watching live, let us know your thoughts. If you're watching the YouTube video, let us know your thoughts down below, and we'll get involved with as many of them as we can as well. But Neal Maupay is officially an Everton player. He wasn't registered in time to feature tomorrow, so unfortunately we're going to have to wait until Tuesday night against Leeds United to potentially see him make his Everton debut. But let us know your thoughts. If you have enjoyed this one, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. Big thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.